The small human exploration vessel Perseverance drifted through the vast emptiness at the edge of known space. Captain Ju Park stood on the bridge with a straight back and calm face. Her dark eyes watched the main screen as 5 huge alien ships came closer. These strange ships shone like polished metal in the starlight, making the human ship look tiny in comparison. 5 ships approaching, Captain, said Lieutenant Doyen Kim, looking up from his instruments. Each one is about 3 times bigger than our ship. Ju nodded. Open communication channels. Use our standard greeting. The main screen flickered, then showed a tall alien creature. Its skin was copper-colored with ridge lines across its face. Strange fleshy parts hung around its mouth, and 4 dark eyes stared at the humans. I am Admiral Vec of the Galactic Vrax Confederacy, the alien said through its translator. The voice sounded proud and cold. You have entered our space with your primitive ship. Captain Park kept her voice steady and professional. Admiral Vec, I am Captain Ju Park from Earth Alliance ship Perseverance *. We are exploring peacefully and did not know anyone claimed this area. Admiral Vec made a rough sound like harsh laughter. Your engines are weak. Your ship's outer shell is thin. Your weapons, he stopped for a moment, hardly deserve the name. How has your kind lived long enough to travel between stars? Security Chief Minja Choi stiffened at his station, his hand moving toward the weapons controls. Captain Park gave him a small signal to stay calm. We want peace with all species we meet, Admiral, she said. Vec's 4 eyes narrowed. Peace is only for those who are equal. Your ship will come with us to our main vessel for inspection. Your people will give up the space you claim. Fighting would be foolish. The screen went dark. The bridge crew looked at each other with worry in their eyes. What should we do, Captain? First Officer Hyun-Woo Lee asked quietly. Juhu's face stayed calm, but her eyes grew hard like stones. For now, we do as they say, and we watch them carefully. The Perseverance moved slowly between 2 giant Vrax ships. The alien vessels had weapons pointing at the human ship from all sides. On the bridge, the crew worked in tense silence, each person watching their screens for any sign of attack. Their weapon systems are fully charged, Minja reported in a low voice. They could destroy us with one blast. Captain Park nodded but said nothing. She tapped her fingers slowly on the arm of her command chair, thinking. Hyun-Woo leaned close to her. Captain, should we tell Earth Alliance about this encounter? Not yet, Ju said. The Vrax might detect our long-range communications. We need to learn more first. The massive Vrax command ship grew larger on their screen. It looked like a floating city in space, with towers and structures extending in all directions. Lights blinked across its surface, and huge weapon ports dotted its hull. They're sending docking instructions, Lieutenant Kim said. Captain Park stood up. Follow their guidance, Lieutenant. Minjae, power down all systems except life support and basic functions. Make them think we're completely helpless. Minja looked surprised. Captain, trust me, she said with a small smile. Sometimes appearing weak is a strength. The Perseverance slid into a massive docking bay inside the Vrax command ship. The bay could have held 20 ships their size. As they settled into place, metal clamps locked around their hull. We're secured, Captain, Doyen reported. They've attached airlocks to our main entry points. Captain Park addressed the entire crew through the ship's communication system. All crew, listen carefully. We are about to meet the Vrax. Remember your training. Say little, observe much. Do not react to provocations. Our mission now is to gather information and survive. A loud clang echoed through the ship as the Vrax opened the outer airlock door. It seems they're eager to meet us, Hyun-Woo said. Then let's not keep them waiting, Ju replied. Minja, Hyun-Woo, Doyen, you're with me. The rest of you, continue your duties and be ready for anything. As they walked to the airlock, Minja whispered, Captain, these aliens clearly see us as inferior. What if they plan to destroy us? Captain Park paused before opening the inner door. Then we'll have to change their minds. She tapped a hidden panel next to the airlock, entering a code only she knew. A small light blinked green briefly, then went dark. What was that? Do-hyun asked. Ju-woo smiled slightly. Insurance. Now let's meet our hosts. The airlock door slid open, revealing 4 tall Vrax soldiers. Each carried a weapon that hummed with energy. Behind them stood a Vrax officer, slightly taller than the others, with elaborate markings on his copper skin. I am Commander Tlek, the officer announced. You will come with us to meet Admiral Vec. He is curious about your species before he decides your fate. Captain Park stepped forward, showing no fear. We look forward to learning about the Vrax as well. Lead the way, Commander. As they follow the aliens through the massive ship, Ju-woo caught Hyun-woo's eye and gave him the smallest nod. Her message was clear. Watch everything. Remember everything. Our survival may depend on it. The Vrax ship was like nothing they had ever seen. The corridors were tall and wide, filled with strange technology. Other alien species moved about, most looking downcast and submissive. None made eye contact with the Vrax. I count at least 3 different alien types working here, Do-hyun whispered. All look like servants or slaves. Ju-woo noted this silently. The Vrax were conquerors, not explorers, and now they had their eyes on humanity. The Perseverance moved slowly between 2 giant Vrax ships. To any watching eyes, it looked like a small, weak vessel being escorted by powerful guards. Inside the ship's engine room, Chief Engineer Gina Kang worked fast at her control panel. Her fingers moved quickly over the glowing screens that floated in the air. Captain, the Vrax are scanning us again, Gina said into her communication device. This is the 3rd deep scan in the last hour. Captain Park's voice came through clearly on the secure channel. Can they see what we don't want them to see? Gina checked the numbers on her screen. No, Captain. Our special hull is working perfectly. Their scans only show what we want them to see. An outdated engine, weak weapons, and basic shields. She smiled as she watched the real readings that only she could see. The truth was very different. The Perseverance was not the simple exploration ship it appeared to be. It was Earth's most advanced warship, disguised to look harmless. Under its plain outer shell, the ship had technology that even most humans didn't know existed. Its hull could change and adapt to different attacks. Its weapons used quantum links to hit targets with perfect accuracy. And at the heart of the ship, a new AI system named ATKGNA could think faster than any human during battle. Gina touched a hidden panel, revealing a second set of controls. Athena, status report. A calm female voice answered from the ship's systems. All advanced systems are in standby mode. Power signatures masked. Weapons ready but dormant. The Vrax remain unaware of our capabilities. In her private room, Captain Park sat looking at a secure tablet. The screen showed her real mission orders. The public mission was about exploring new space. But her secret orders from Earth Alliance intelligence were different. Find out about possible threats to human space. The door chimes sounded. Enter, she said, turning off the tablet. First Officer Hyun-woo Lee walked in. His face showed worry. The crew is talking, Captain. They're scared. Some have heard stories about the Vrax before. They should be concerned, Ju said. From what we've seen and heard, the Vrax have taken over many other alien species. They don't make friends. They make servants. Then shouldn't we show them our real strength? Hyun-woo asked. If they knew what the Perseverance can really do, they might leave us alone. Captain Park shook her head. Not yet. Right now, information is more valuable than showing our power. If they think we're weak, they'll talk freely around us. We'll learn their strengths, their weaknesses, their plans. She stood up and walked to the small window in her room. The huge Vrax command ship filled the view. Besides, we don't know how many ships they have beyond the ones we can see. We need to be smart about this. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. The crew will follow your orders, Captain, but they're ready to fight if needed. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Ju said. But if it does, the Vrax will get quite a surprise. On the Vrax command ship, Admiral Vec sat in his large control room. A screen in front of him showed the small human ship. He made a sound that might be a laugh. "Look at this vessel," he said to Commander Tlek, who stood beside him. "Such basic design. Their hull is simple metal. Their weapons could barely damage our smallest fighter." Commander Tlek studied the image. "Yet they have traveled far from their home system. Admiral, perhaps they have some hidden strength." Admiral Vec waved a large hand dismissively. "Our scans show everything. These humans are nothing special. Their bodies are soft. Their technology is simple. They will make good workers in our mining operations." Back on the Perseverance Gina finished checking all systems and called the captain again. "All masks are holding, Captain. They still see only what we want them to see." "Good work," Captain Park replied. "Keep monitoring their scans. If they try something new, I want to know immediately." Gina was about to answer when her screen flashed with a warning. "Captain, they're sending some kind of energy pulse toward us. It's not a weapon, but it's stronger than their previous scans." In her quarters, Captain Park frowned. "Can it penetrate our disguise?" There was a moment of silence before Gina answered. "No, Captain. Athena has adapted our hull matrix. The pulse is being reflected with false data." She paused. "But this means they're getting more curious about us. Or more suspicious," Captain Park said. "Be ready to activate emergency protocols if needed. I'll join you on the bridge shortly." As Captain Park walked through the corridors of her ship, crew members nodded respectfully. They didn't know all the secrets of the Perseverance but they knew their captain had something planned. She stopped at a small section of wall that looked like all the others, pressed her hand against it, and whispered a code word. The wall slid open, revealing the hidden weapons locker. Inside were devices that looked nothing like standard Earth weapons. Captain Park took a small silver disc and attached it to her uniform under her collar. It would project a personal shield if needed, another technology the Vrax knew nothing about. "Captain to bridge," she said into her communicator. "Status report." "We're being directed to dock with the main Vrax ship," Hyunwoo's voice replied. "They say Admiral Vec wants to inspect our vessel personally." Captain Park smiled slightly. "Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for." As the Perseverance approached the docking bay of the massive Vrax command ship, it continued to look small and harmless. Inside, however, hidden systems hummed with power, waiting for the command to reveal the ship's true nature. "Let them think we're weak," Captain Park said quietly to herself. "Let them underestimate humanity. It will be the last mistake they ever make." The meeting room on the Vrax command ship was huge. The ceiling rose so high that Captain Park had to tilt her head back to see the top. The walls glowed with a soft purple light that made the copper-skinned aliens look even more strange. Captain Ju Park stood straight and calm. First Officer Hyunwoo Lee and Lieutenant Do-Yim Kim stood beside her. They faced Admiral Vec, who sat on a raised platform like a king on a throne. Around him, 6 other Vrax sat in a half-circle. Each wore different-colored armor that showed their rank. Admiral Vec looked down at the humans with all 4 of his eyes. He seemed relaxed, almost bored, as if talking to insects. "The terms are simple," Vec said in his deep voice. "Humans will accept Vrax protection and rule. Your colonies will pay us what we demand in resources and workers. If you do this, we will allow your species to live." Captain Park kept her face blank, showing no fear or anger. "And if humans wish to stay free and independent." Vec's mouth parts moved in what might have been a smile. 12 other species wanted the same thing. In the end, they either became wise and obeyed, or they died out. The choice was theirs, as it is now yours. While the Admiral spoke, Lieutenant Kim slowly moved his hand to the small badge on his chest. It looked like a simple Earth Alliance symbol, but it was actually a powerful scanner. He pressed it gently, and it began collecting data about the Vrax ship, their weapons, and their plans. All this information went straight to the Perseverance without the Vrax knowing. On the human ship, Lieutenant Sujin Yoon sat at the communication station. Her eyes widened as new information appeared on her screen. "This can't be right," she whispered. She checked the data again, then touched her earpiece. "Captain," she said quietly, knowing only Park could hear her through the hidden device, "we found something very bad. Vrax warships are already moving toward our colony at Proxima Centauri. They must have sent them before even meeting us." In the meeting room, Captain Park showed no reaction to this shocking news. She kept her eyes on Admiral Vec. "Admiral, this is a big decision that affects all humans," she said calmly. "We would need time to talk with our government about your terms." Vec made a sound like rocks grinding together, a Vrax laugh. "How strange. It seems your long-range communication systems aren't working right now," he said mockingly. "You have one planetary day, about 30 of your Earth hours, to decide." "No more." Captain Park nodded once. "We understand, Admiral. May we return to our ship to discuss this among ourselves?" Vec waved a large hand. "Go. My guards will escort you." 4 tall Vrax soldiers led the humans back through the massive ship. They walked in silence through long corridors where other alien species worked like slaves, never looking up at the passing Vrax. As they walked, Captain Park noticed everything. How many guards were at each door, where the weapon stations were placed, which areas seemed most important. She stored away every detail in her mind. When they were almost back to their ship, Commander Lee moved closer to Captain Park and whispered, "We're cut off from Earth." "We're alone out here, Captain." Ju gave him a small smile. "Not entirely alone, Commander." They reached the airlock to the Perseverance The Vrax guards watched as they entered their ship. When the airlock closed behind them, Captain Park immediately activated her secure communicator. "Engineer Kang, begin preparations for Protocol Omega." Quietly. "Protocol Omega?" Hanwoo asked, his voice low. "Captain, that's our emergency battle protocol." "Exactly," Ju said. "Get everyone to the bridge. We need to talk." 10 minutes later, the senior crew gathered on the bridge. The main screen showed the inside of the Vrax docking bay, where their ship was held by strong metal clamps. 2 Vrax guards stood watching their ship. "They've given us 1 day to accept becoming their slaves," Captain Park told her crew. "And we've learned they already sent ships to attack our colony. How do we warn Earth?" Lieutenant Yoon asked. "We can't," Captain Park said. "The Vrax are blocking all long-range communications." Engineer Gina Kang spoke up. "Captain, if we activate our real systems, we could break through their jammers and reveal what we really are," Commander Lee added. "Is that wise?" Captain Park looked at each of her crew members. The Vrax plan to take over all human worlds. They'd done it to 12 other species already. We've seen how those other aliens live now, as slaves. If we don't stop this here, Earth could be next. The bridge was quiet for a moment. "What exactly is Protocol Omega?" Lieutenant Kim asked. Captain Park nodded to Engineer Kang, who brought up a diagram on the side screen. It showed the Perseverance transforming from its current appearance to its true form. "Our ship was built to appear harmless," Engineer Kang explained. "But underneath, we have the most advanced weapons and shields Earth has ever made. Protocol Omega drops the disguise and activates everything at once. The Vrax won't know what hit them," Minja Choi said with a small smile. "But there are 5 of their ships, Captain," Lieutenant Yoon pointed out. "Even with our real capabilities, those are bad odds." Captain Park nodded. "That's why we won't fight if we don't have to. I have another plan." She turned to Engineer Kang. How quickly can you access their computer systems? With ATGNA's help. Maybe an hour, if they don't detect us. Good. I want everything. Their fleet positions, weapon specs, and especially the location of their homeworld. Commander Lee looked shocked. Captain, are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we gather intelligence, Commander, Captain Park said firmly. And then we show Admiral Vec that humans aren't as weak as he thinks. The crew began preparing immediately. Engineer Kang and Lieutenant Kim worked on hacking the Vrax computers. Security Chief Choi checked all weapons systems. Lieutenant Yoon monitored the Vrax guards, making sure they didn't suspect anything. 6 hours later, Captain Park sat in her quarters reviewing the information they had gathered. The Vrax Confederacy was larger than they had guessed, with hundreds of ships and dozens of conquered worlds. But they had weaknesses too. Her door chimed. Enter, she called. Commander Lee stepped in. Captain, Engineer Kang has found something important in their files. The Vrax have a strict command structure. If a higher-ranking ship is defeated, all others must retreat and regroup. Captain Park smiled. So we don't need to beat their fleet. We just need to beat Admiral Vec's command ship. Exactly. But his ship is huge, Captain. It's at least 20 times our size. Captain Park stood up. Size isn't everything, Commander. Sometimes the smallest predator is the most dangerous. She checked the time. Admiral Vec will call us soon for our answer. Let's make sure we're ready to surprise him. Admiral Vec's large face filled the main screen of the Perseverance *. His 4 eyes looked down at the humans with pride and power. Behind him, other Vrax officers watched with smug faces. Your time is up, Captain Park, Admiral Vec said. What is your answer? Will your species submit to Vrax rule, or will you choose extinction? Captain Ju Park sat calmly in her command chair. She looked at the small screen on her armrest. It showed all 5 Vrax ships around them in a circle. There was no way to escape. At least, that's what the Vrax thought. She noticed a small green light blinking on her console. It was a signal from Engineer Kang. Everything was ready. Before I give you our answer, Admiral, I have a question. Ju said in a polite voice. In all your conquests of other species, have you ever met one that hid its true abilities from you? Admiral Vec's face showed confusion. His mouthparts moved in an odd way. Hiding true power is impossible. Our sensors see everything. Do they? Captain Park smiled for the first time since meeting the Vrax. Let me show you something interesting. She nodded to Tactical Officer Minja Choi, who pressed a series of commands into his console. Suddenly, throughout the Perseverance *, hidden systems came to life. The outside of the ship began to change. What looked like plain metal now rippled and shifted. The hull glowed slightly as special panels moved and revealed weapon ports that had been invisible before. The ship's energy readings jumped up, first twice as powerful, then 3 times as powerful as before. On the screen, Admiral Vec's 4 eyes opened wide in shock. Behind him, the Vrax officers jumped to their stations, shouting in their language. What trick is this? Vec demanded, his voice now less sure. Not a trick, Admiral. A strategy, Captain Park said, her voice now firmer and colder. Humans have met other aggressive species before you. We learned it's smart to look weaker than we are until we need to show our real strength. The Perseverance * suddenly pulled free from the metal clamps that held it in the Vrax docking bay. The engines roared to life with power that the Vrax sensors had never detected before. The ship shot out of the bay into open space. Alarms blared on the Vrax ships. Their weapons began to charge. Too slow, Captain Park said quietly. She turned to Minja. Target only their weapons and engines. Use minimum force. No need to destroy them completely. Yes, Captain, Minja replied, his fingers flying over his control panel. The battle started in seconds. The Perseverance * moved with amazing speed for its size. It twisted and turned between the larger Vrax ships, which tried to follow but were too slow. The human ship fired precise energy beams that hit exactly where aimed. The first Vrax cruiser spun out of control as its engine shut down. The second one fired its main weapons, but the beams passed through empty space where the Perseverance had been a moment before. Hull adapting to their weapon frequencies, Engineer Kang reported from her station. HFY is predicting their moves 3 steps ahead. 2 more Vrax ships lost their weapons as the Perseverance fired quick, accurate shots that disabled them without destroying the vessels. The alien crews were alive but helpless. Admiral Vex's voice boomed through the communication system. All ships, destroy the human vessel. His massive command ship turned its main cannon toward the Perseverance. The weapon began to glow as it charged. They're preparing to fire their main weapon, Lieutenant Kim warned. I see it, Captain Park said calmly. Binge, targeted strike pattern Delta. The Perseverance suddenly accelerated to an impossible speed. It raced straight toward the huge Vrax command ship, then at the last moment, flew up and over it. As it passed, it fired 3 precise shots. The first hit the power connection to the main cannon. The second disabled the ship's shield generators. The third knocked out its main engine control. The giant weapon on Vex's ship flickered and went dark. The massive vessel began to drift slowly, unable to maneuver. Impossible. Admiral Vex roared, his face now showing real fear on the view screen. Your ship cannot. My ship, Captain Park cut him off, is not what it appears to be. And neither is humanity. The bridge crew of the Perseverance worked in perfect unison, each person focused on their task. Lieutenant Yoon monitored the status of the Vrax fleet. Lieutenant Kim kept track of the disabled ships. Binge kept the weapons ready in case any other Vrax ship tried to attack. Captain, Engineer Kang called out, I'm detecting signals from the other Vrax ships. They're requesting orders from the command ship. Captain Park nodded. Open a channel to all Vrax vessels. When the channel was open, she spoke in a clear, strong voice. This is Captain Ju Park of the Earth Alliance, ship Perseverance *. Your command ship is disabled but not destroyed. Your crews are unharmed. We could have destroyed you all, but chose not to. Remember this when you think of humans in the future. She paused, then added, the ships you sent toward our colony at Proxima Centauri will turn back now, or they will meet the same fate, or worse. We have more ships like the Perseverance *, and they are already on their way. This last part was not exactly true, but the Vrax didn't know that. The fear on their faces showed they believed her. One of the Vrax captains spoke up. We cannot abandon our admiral. You are not abandoning him, Captain Park replied. We will keep Admiral Vex as our guest for a short time, to discuss peace between our peoples. The rest of you will return to your territory. Now, the Vrax ships, unable to fight and afraid of the human vessel that had so easily defeated them, slowly began to move away. On the bridge of the Perseverance *, the crew exchanged looks of relief and pride. I can't believe it worked, Lieutenant Kim whispered. Captain Park smiled. Sometimes the greatest weapon is the one your enemy doesn't know you have. She turned to Commander Lee. Prepare a boarding party. Let's go have a proper talk with Admiral Vex. As the Perseverance * moved alongside the drifting Vrax command ship, its hull still glowing with power, the truth was clear to all who saw it. This was no simple exploration vessel, but something much more dangerous, a predator that had been hiding in plain sight. The meeting room on the Perseverance * was quiet. Admiral Vex sat at the table, his large body looking uncomfortable in the human-sized chair. His 4 eyes moved back and forth as he read the information on the display screen in front of him. The screen showed details about the human chip's true abilities. This cannot be real, he said, but his voice sounded less sure than before. Captain Ju Park stood across from him. Her small size compared to the alien made her look weak, but her eyes were strong and confident. "Your scanners saw a simple explorer ship because that's what we wanted them to see," Captain Park explained. "This ship shows only a small part of what humans can do." Admiral Vek's body language had changed completely. Gone was the proud, tall posture. Now he sat with careful attention, watching the humans with new respect and a little fear. "Why hide your strength?" Vek asked. "Why not show your power to all?" Commander Hyunwoo Lee stepped forward. "History taught us this lesson," he said. "On Earth, when one group showed off their power, others would join together to fight them. We find it better when others think we are weaker than we really are," Captain Park added. "It stops fights before they start." She touched a control on the table, and a new image appeared. It showed the Vrax ships that had been sent to attack the human colony. The ships were now stopped, waiting for new orders. "You will call these ships back," Captain Park said. It was not a request. "Then we will talk about peace between humans and the Vrax." Admiral Vek looked at Captain Park with all four eyes. He seemed to be thinking deeply. "You could have destroyed all our ships," he said finally. "Why didn't you?" Captain Park's face softened slightly. "Because peace is not only for those who are equal in strength, as you said before. Peace is for those who are wise enough to choose it instead of fighting." After some more talk, Admiral Vek agreed to Captain Park's terms. He sent orders to the attack fleet to return to Vrax space. He also agreed to sign a basic peace agreement between humans and the Vrax Confederacy. For 3 days, humans and Vrax worked together on the agreement. At first, the Vrax officers were cold and angry, but as they learned more about humans, they became more respectful. Some even seemed interested in human culture and history. On the 3rd day, Captain Park and Admiral Vek signed the peace agreement. It was not a perfect solution to all problems, but it was a start. "This is the first step toward understanding between our peoples," Captain Park said during the signing. Admiral Vek made a sound that might have been a laugh, but it was softer than before. "You humans are not what you seem. That makes you dangerous, but also interesting." Later that day, the Perseverance left the Vrax command ship and moved away from the alien fleet. On the bridge, Captain Park watched the view screen as the Vrax ships grew smaller in the distance. "The Vrax fleet is staying in position, Captain," Lieutenant Kim reported from his station. "They are not following us. The peace agreement is basic, but it's a good start," Commander Lee said, standing beside the captain's chair. "Earth Alliance leaders will be happy with what we've done." Captain Park nodded slowly. "They'll be even happier about all the information we've collected about possible threats in this part of space." She turned away from the screen to look at her crew. Each person on the bridge had done their job perfectly during the crisis. She felt proud of them all. "Set course for Earth," she ordered. "Standard speed." A small smile touched her lips. "No need to show off any more than we already have." Lieutenant Kim entered the course into his control panel. "Course set, Captain. At standard speed, we'll reach Earth in 26 days. The Perseverance turned smoothly and began its journey home. As it moved away from Vrax space, the ship's special hull gradually changed again. The weapon ports disappeared under smooth metal. The power readings dropped to normal levels. To anyone watching, it now looked like nothing more than a simple exploration ship again. Engineer Gina Kang reported from the engine room. "All systems returning to disguise mode, Captain. We look like a regular ship again." "Perfect," Captain Park replied. "Just as it should be." That night, when her shift ended, Captain Park sat alone in her quarters. She wrote her report for Earth Alliance Command, explaining everything that had happened with the Vrax. At the end of the report, she added her own thoughts. "The Vrax are not the only powerful species in our galaxy. There will be others. Some may be friendly, some may not. But today has proven that our strategy works. By appearing weaker than we are, we can learn about potential enemies without starting unnecessary wars. The asterisk perseverance asterisk has lived up to its name. We persevered, and we succeeded. She paused, then added one final line. Sometimes the best weapon is the one your enemy doesn't know you have. As the asterisk perseverance asterisk traveled through the darkness of space toward Earth, it looked just like any other small explorer ship. Plain, simple, harmless. Exactly as intended. The end.